May 8th, 1999 is a date that will forever haunt the families of 19-year-olds Candis, Kyser, and David Keller, especially their daughter, Kayla. Kayla was just 2.5 years old at the time, and she was being raised in a quiet neighborhood in Fort Mitchell, Alabama. It was the kind of place where everyone knows everyone else, and nothing horrible ever happens. David was working as a plumber to support his family while Candis was working towards her GED. They had began dating in school, and their relationship was very strong. Having a baby daughter motivated both parents to work hard and strive for success. It all came crashing down on May 8th of 1999 when both Candis and David were murdered. Candis's mother, Sheila, had told her daughter that she would go out looking for properties that morning, and Sheila arrived at their home just as they had planned. However, nobody answered the front door of the mobile home, so Sheila circled around to the back, looking for any signs of activity. She could see Kayla through the window, but the little girl appeared to be alone, so Sheila climbed through the window and started looking around. Candis's body was in the bedroom, and David's body was near the front door. Both of them had been shot. Sheila scooped up the baby and ran out of the house, calling the police as soon as she got access to a phone. The authorities arrived on scene and quickly began an investigation. There were cigarette butts and beer bottles scattered around the home, but none of them belonged to the couple. There was no evidence of drug use in the home, meaning that the murder was not connected to a drug deal, and Candis's jewelry was still present, which ruled out burglary as a motive. The couple's families reported that they did not have any known enemies who would have wanted to harm them. The police formulated a hypothesis quickly, which was that the couple had performed a murder. This theory was thrown away soon after because there was no murder weapon anywhere in the house. The most intriguing aspect of the double murder is that the killer spared Kayla. Some people believe that Candis must have hidden the baby when she realized that someone was breaking into the home, and most people think that she most likely slept through the murders. Why had the killer left the baby alive? The investigation never picked up much steam because there was so little evidence for the authorities to work with. The families of the victims did not think there was any DNA evidence or fingerprints left behind at the crime scene because the police never mentioned anything about it to them. Candis's aunt, Regina, attempted to contact the Alabama Attorney General, the President, and the FBI for help in solving the case, but nothing ever came of these efforts. The double murder went cold, with no new leads or evidence coming into the spotlight. The local community was badly shaken by the events, and grief assumed a stranglehold over the families of the victims. There was no apparent motive for the murders, just a happy young couple who loved their daughter more than anything in the world. As the years slipped by, Kayla grew up without her parents. She learned what happened to them on that fateful day in 1999, and she eventually started a GoFundMe page to raise money in order to pay for a private investigator to take over the case. The page reads as follows: I am the daughter of Candis and David. We are hoping to hire a private investigator to help solve my parents' unsolved murder. In 1999, they were tragically killed by someone during a home invasion. The case remains unsolved with very little progress since the murders. After much encouragement by members of the community, our family would like to raise enough money to open the case and have it properly investigated. Any donations would help and be very much appreciated by our family. I would like to thank everyone in advance for their donations. As of the time I'm writing this video, the GoFundMe page has raised just over $4,000 and the end goal is $10,000. I'll put the link to the page in the description of this video. If you have any information about this case, you can contact the Russell County Sheriff's Office at the number on screen. It was almost 5 p.m. on July 11th of 2016 when a man entered Three Palms grocery store in Stockton, California with a handgun. The man approached the counter, which was manned by 63-year-old Anwar Machiwalla, the store owner and father who was also a beloved member of the local community. The unknown man fatally shot Anwar before leaving the crime scene. That day just so happened to be Anwar's birthday. His daughter, Aliyah, said, "He was at work. He loved being at work. My mom was preparing his birthday dinner for him." Paramedics arrived at the corner store, but they were unable to save Anwar. Anwar Machiwalla emigrated from Pakistan to the United States in 1990, hoping to make a better life for his family. He opened the corner store with his brother, Rudy, and their regular customers called him Andy or Andreas. Aliyah stated that her father was a giver, and he was always very proud of his store. Those that would come that maybe didn't have enough money or were maybe just starting their life here in the valley, my dad would give them free food, free milk and eggs for their family. And he would keep a running note of people that would do those things, and then they would be able to repay him back once they had the money to do so. His customers always came first. Both customers and suppliers of the store were devastated by the murder, grieving alongside Anwar's family. A neighbor of the store who regularly shopped there, Ramon Reyes, described the business as a community gathering center. This sentiment was backed up by a regular customer named Mike Lamb, who stated that everybody comes here to cash checks. Everybody comes here to buy stuff. They've been here forever and ever. They're real friendly people. Yet another customer said, "It's not going to be the same. He was awesome. I don't understand. He loved music, all kinds of music. He had the radio on all the time, usually pop rock." The suspect was described by witnesses as a light-skinned male who wore a bandana to cover his face. He was seen running to a full-size black sport utility vehicle that was parked on East Fairchild Road a short distance from the store, and the SUV sped away from the scene as soon as the man entered the vehicle. The case went cold very quickly with no new information coming in, and Anwar's loved ones were hopeful that DNA testing technology could cause a breakthrough in the investigation, but this doesn't appear to have happened. The murder is still unsolved to this day, and Aliyah has since moved to San Jose. Crime Stoppers offered a reward of up to $10,000 for information leading to an arrest as recently as 2022, and people can submit anonymous tips to the phone number on screen. You can also contact the sheriff's office at the second number on screen. Judy Ann Shin was born on January 31st of 1962 in South Korea. Her family life was unstable from the very beginning, with her parents divorcing that same year. Judy's father had custody of her, and they moved to Hawaii in 1963. Her father then enlisted in the United States Army, and he was deployed to Vietnam for training. Judy's aunt in New Jersey took her in and legally adopted her, so in 1964 she became Judy Ann Shin Gifford. The plan was for Judy to return to her father's care after he got married and settled down, but she remained with her aunt and uncle after her father remarried in 1969. It was around 1976 when Judy was 14 years old when she began to misbehave. Her grades started to slip and she even ran into trouble with the law. Her aunt returned her to her father and his new family in California. Judy's father had new children with his second wife, and Judy's half-brother overheard a phone conversation she had with her aunt where Judy tearfully begged to be taken back, but her aunt told her that she needed to learn to love her father. Judy was last seen alive in San Francisco sometime around June 24th of 1976. After her disappearance, Judy's half-brother thought that she must have flown to New Jersey to live with her aunt once again, while Judy's aunt believed that she had run away from home. Neither of these hypotheses were strictly accurate, but the truth would remain unknown for a very long time. Judy had simply vanished and there was no sign of her anywhere. On October 1st of 1976, a man was walking his dog near Lake Merced in San Francisco when he noticed a hand sticking up from the sand nearby. He decided to investigate the hand, and he found a shallow grave with the dead body of a young woman inside. He reported his discovery to the police, describing the body as an Asian woman between the ages of 15 and 25 years. The body belonged to Judy, but nobody knew that at the time. She became a Jane Doe as the authorities tried to figure out her identity. The autopsy revealed that she had been strangled to death, and she had been fully clothed at the time, suggesting that SA was not the motivation. Aside from this, however, there was hardly any information about Jane Doe. Her identity would remain a mystery for over 40 years. In 2017, Judy's half-brother contacted the San Francisco Police Department to report her missing. He provided a DNA sample to the authorities just in case they could use it to help identify her in the future. This was the right move because in November of 2019, the police finally connected his DNA sample to the Jane Doe who had been discovered all the way back in 1976. Judy was given back her identity, but the question remains, who killed her and why did they do it? Judy's name was returned to her, but the murder is still a mystery to this day. Judy's aunt has since admitted that she regrets the decision to leave Judy with her father, and she wishes that she had bought a plane ticket for Judy to return to New Jersey. In any case, some twisted individual took advantage of a lone teenager who was struggling with her family situation, and this case is a sickening reminder of some of the lowest depths of human depravity. Click the join button to become a member today. Channel members receive exclusive content as well as early access to all my content. On May 16th of 1981, 20-year-old Dawn Marino was bar hopping with her friends. They started out at a bar called the White Eagle, then they ended up at the Corner Tavern in Pine Island, New York. Dawn's friends stated that she was ready to go home at around 1 a.m. because she had an appointment to bring her dog to the veterinarian later that day. However, her friends were not ready to leave yet, and Dawn was upset by this. One of her friends grabbed her car keys so she could drive Dawn home, but when she went to meet up with her outside the bar, Dawn was nowhere to be seen. She had disappeared within minutes. Dawn was reported missing later that day, and a search effort commenced, but nothing was found. Dawn's case became a creepy local mystery with no new information coming out for 6 long years. This all changed on October 31st of 1987 when a hunter was setting up a stand in the woods near the town of Warwick and found Dawn's skeleton in a cistern. The authorities arrived at the scene and conducted an investigation of the area, bringing in a forensics team to search around the cistern. One of the only clues in the case was a material that was found with Dawn's body, which has images in a Pennsylvania Dutch motif. The police were initially hopeful that the distinctive design of the material would jog someone's memory, but nothing new was ever learned from it. As recently as 2025, the police conducted an excavation at the spot where Dawn's body was found, but no new information is available to the public. The police supposedly uncovered new evidence from this effort, and a person of interest was identified. This person has since hired an attorney, and a search warrant was issued for the person's land. Hopefully, this will result in more information coming to light. An anonymous friend of Dawn's released a statement saying, "Dawn was really sweet and only 20 years old, and she was such an old soul. I remember that she really loved her little dog. She was still looking for her place in life and trying to figure out her future, which I could relate to because I was only 10 years older. Dawn and I had such a connection. It was like she was part of me and I could relate to her in so many ways. When I think of her, I feel good. I really care for her and the pain doesn't go away. It feels like yesterday and I miss Dawn so much." If you have any information about Dawn's case, you can contact one of 3 numbers. The first is the New York State Police tip line, the second is the Warwick Police Department tip line, and the third is the FBI tip line.